Hey guys, what's up? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. Now I just must apologize ahead of time if you guys hear any sounds in the background while I am actually talking into my mic. I'm recording at a very different time of day. Usually I record much later in order to keep the volume low. I am running filters, but there's only so much I can do due to my position and in terms of where it is with the outside world, so there's really nothing much I can do about that. But with that being said, let's get right into the conversation and topic of today. And that is the reality of XDefiant. Because especially ever since this huge update that has been released less than 24 hours ago as of the time of this recording, there have been a lot of talks within the community about a multitude of different things. Most of that consists of basically how the community, like how really bittersweet it is, to say the least. A lot of community members are pissed off. A lot of community members say it's completely unfair from both the dev standpoint as well as the player standpoint, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't make sense, blah, 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 all that stuff. And some people are even holding out on faith that there's at least a 1% chance that XDefiant, basically gets resurrected in some way, shape, or form. Some people are begging Elon Musk to buy the rights to the game and just be able to resurrect the game, which is obviously something that's never going to happen, especially since you're not going to get that man's attention with everything that he's got going on. But even if he was doing absolutely nothing, I doubt any attention would go his way on that. But the biggest thing is a lot of people are hoping that Tencent buys out Ubisoft and that they resurrect XDefiant. But the question is, is XDefiant going to be the same? Is Mark Rubin still going to be in charge? What's going on with Mark Rubin? Is he still within the company? Is he leaving? Is he going to be doing something else? Is he going to be forming his own studio? All these are questions that have yet to be answered. And basically at this point, we live in a world where money talks, and Ubisoft is not in a good spot. They have been known to kind of do this before, despite the fact that in the past they were in a better spot than they are currently today. And over the last, handful of years, give or take, Ubisoft has really let down their fans, at least according to what you guys have been telling me. And I did some minor research on it, and I even made a video on it, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of bad. So, but at this point, I remember ever since the beginning of covering XDefiant, like a while ago, you guys were saying, Jack, and I'm paraphrasing here, you guys said, Jack, we admire your passion, but this is Ubisoft we're talking about. And quite frankly, yeah, you guys were, as I mentioned, I'm pretty sure in a previous video, you guys are definitely right. This game, the reality is that this game is a victim of bad circumstance, right? And all it takes is no matter what, no matter how deserving you are, no matter how good your product is, no matter what is going on, no matter what the circumstances are, if you or a project or whatever it is a victim of bad circumstances and bad timing, bad management, and all that kind of stuff, which is what the victim of XDefiant is at this point, stuff like this is subject to happen, right? Especially if the company that's in charge is really going down under. And reports are saying that Tencent really is interested in buying Ubisoft, but the guys that are in charge of Ubisoft, the Guillermo family, they still want to be in charge. They basically want to sell their house, but still tell the new occupants of that house, despite the fact that they bought it, they want to still tell them how to live, which is, which just kind of makes me laugh. And it also goes to show you what kind of management is in charge at Ubisoft, right? A lot of you guys have mentioned that there have been other games under the Ubisoft umbrella that have gone down in similar ways like this. Although with XDefiant, it's also a more unique situation because we're getting all this content 2 weeks or so after the fact that it's been announced that the game is going down, right? But the devs, of course, they wanted to show off what they were cooking and all that kind of stuff and why they were proud. It wasn't just something that the devs said to make themselves look good. And it just goes to show their level of transparency. And just like I mentioned, I had this feeling that before the announcement that the devs were really like putting their heads down because Season 3 was going to be that game changer. Now, obviously, in this update, we got more than just Season 3. We got stuff up through Season 8 as far as maps are concerned and a couple of extra factions added in. But as far as the features are concerned, for the most part, it was the majority of what we're seeing here in Season 3, excuse me, was just a few weeks before it was being released. And a lot of people are saying how it just doesn't make sense for them to pull the plug on this game, especially right before we were about to turn that corner and deliver Season 3, which was supposedly supposed to be a big game changer. And obviously, if this is any indication, then yeah, it was going to be a game changer. And a lot of the audiences, or should I say the players, their complaints, a lot of that has would basically be addressed, and then some, because as you guys know, it's a game that continuously gets supported from season to season, from month to month, throughout its life cycle. And obviously, because of the unfortunate circumstances, the game was obviously rushed by a year, which was a bad move in and of itself. Which basically says that Ubisoft was trying to make as much money as they could from the game, because they were bleeding money and they needed it to release really quickly. That's the only logical answer that I have for that. Either that or they're stupid, which I wouldn't really doubt. Either, as far as everything else is concerned, because apparently over the course of history they've doubled down on bad decisions before, in terms of the things that I've read over multiple reports, as well as videos being made. So it really is a bad and unfortunate circumstance. And again, going back to the sliver of hope that people are saying, look, we live in a world to where money talks, right? And at this point right now, as much as I love XDefiant, right? You guys know how much I love this game, right? And it goes beyond content creation. Forget content for a minute. You guys know how much I love this game. You guys know how much I support this game. And I know that a lot of you guys are on the same boat with me, both content creators and non-content creators alike. I know that you guys are on the same boat. You have a lot of love for this game. You see the potential of this game. You see the passion behind it and everything like that. It's all there, absolutely. But the reality of the situation is that circumstances behind the scenes, in terms of what's going on with Ubisoft, are so bad that again, this game is a full-on victim of it, and it takes money in order to keep a game like this rolling. And obviously, Ubisoft is bleeding money. And the funny thing is, a lot of people will point to other games that have been, running, and the servers continue to run for years, even though there's only like maybe at best 1,000 players playing and only 10 devs on the dev team and stuff like that. And the fact that XDefiant, for being what it is, doesn't even have a chance of just keeping their servers up or whatever, which I understand. I could be wrong. It could be very expensive, but it just goes to show you also that the company, in this case being Ubisoft, does not even want to spend the minimum amount of dollar just to keep the servers up, or to just pay for the skeleton crew to keep things maintained, so to speak, right? So, because that's where we are right now. According to one of the devs that has been in my stream, and I streamed for like nearly 5 hours last night or something like that, they said that basically it's very skeleton-ish right now. So there's a very small group of devs right now that are basically keeping the game up and just doing the bare minimum to keep things going up until June. And I know that Aches put up a tweet that basically said, no, that's not everything. But remember, guys, I mean, we're in the holidays now. People are also on vacation, stuff like that. And we're probably just going to get a couple more limited time modes that are going to be rotated in. And that's pretty much it. And some people have been saying that this is kind of a really weird marketing strategy for Ubisoft. And it just doesn't make sense, though, because, well, people are not allowed, new players are not allowed to download the game. I heard somewhere that somebody mentioned that they're talking about, opening up for downloads and stuff like that, which is in a way a sliver of hope, but I doubt it. It's already been announced. It's already been mentioned. It's even on the XDefiant page, as you'll see. When you log into the game, it says important update, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. So at this point, this is where we are with the game. It's a victim of unfortunate circumstances, and it is less than a 1% chance that the game comes back. And the only reason why I say less than 1% chance is because, well, nobody can really 100% predict anything, but this is pretty damn close to 100%. And what I'm trying to tell you is that despite everything, and despite the hopes of the community, and despite the game being good, despite the devs being, guys that worked their asses off on this game, despite the fact that they were rushed and everything else, and they gave us all this content after the fact that it's been announced that they've been shutting down and stuff like that. That himself wasn't even informed until about a week before the announcement. And then the devs themselves weren't informed until the day before. So, that just goes to show that the devs and the victims, even the executive producer himself, was a victim to all this stuff, right? And granted, with all the months of shit that the devs have been getting, which is completely unfair because they have to answer to the higher ups, and the higher ups just simply, cut this game short. They could have at least waited until season 3, sure, and all that, but the circumstances are the circumstances, nothing we can do, and the game is still going to shut down in 6 months from now. Now, if Tencent buys them and resurrects the game, there's a lot of uncertainties if that were to happen, which is a low chance, but there's a lot of uncertainties if that were to happen. So, and as I may or not have mentioned in this particular commentary, again, the Guillermo family, the ones that are in charge, they want to sell But not only do they want to sell, but they still want to be in charge, right? Right. So I'm going to sell my house to you, and then I'm going to tell you how to live. No, it doesn't work that way. And obviously Tencent is not in agreement with that, and neither would be any other buyer. And then of course there's the fact that, you know, they're putting all their all their hopes onto Assassin's Creed Shadows or whatnot, which is a mistake. You know, you always got to have a backup plan, and XDefiant, if treated properly, could have been a hell of a backup plan. And they made a mistake from the very beginning, and that mistake was rushing this game out. If this game came out 6 months from now, which was originally when it was supposed to come out, if this game were to come out 6 months from now, and with all the content and bells and whistles that we're getting pretty much in season 3, you know, throughout season 3 right now, and everything before, and maybe a couple other things added that didn't quite make the cut this time, it would have been a damn good free-to-play arcade shooter with, you know, the bells and whistles that are required for today's audience in a not only a free-to-play game, but just in a video game in general, right? And it would have had a hell of a start, and it would have been praised. It would have been praised instead of getting all the shit that it's got. I mean, sure, it would have still gotten shit because there's always those people that are gonna, you know, shit on any game no matter what. Sure. But in comparison to where we are now, it could have been a night and day difference if it was handled different. But obviously, like I said, even before this game was launched, it was a victim of bad circumstance, unfortunately. And it is what it is, and there's nothing really we can do about that. Some people are holding out on a sliver of hope, and as a person that you guys know who loves XDefiant, you know, content creation aside, you know, it is in the back of my mind that anything is possible, but it is highly, highly doubtful. And as far as where I stand, I am going to enjoy this game until their servers shut down. I've said that previously, and that has not changed. And I am expecting the servers to shut down. And as I mentioned previously, this channel is going to go to sleep until another organic multiplayer shooter is going to come out in terms of the matchmaking system. And some people say it's not organic, right? Because there's team balancing. But look, all the members in the lobby are picked from being king, and that to me is organic. So after that, it's like team balancing. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? But every single member of that lobby is present, right? You know what? It is what it is. So, and I'll take team balancing over a rigged matchmaking system any day. And that's why XDefiant is likely going to be the final multiplayer shooter that I play. Simple as that. Plus, everything else has come out. Skill-based matchmaking aside, really doesn't have my attention all that much. Fragpunk is a game that kind of has seemed to get my attention. Maybe Splitgate too, but again, it all depends on so many different things. Number one, whether or not I enjoy the game, and obviously number two, or should I say 1A, 1B, is that, you know, the matchmaking system. Above all else, just the matchmaking system. You know, matchmaking system will let me try the game out, and then if I enjoy the game, I'll stick with it. If not, it is what it is. So that's fine. We'll just focus either on the second channel, or I just kind of disappear, so to speak. So that's pretty much it. That's the reality of things, guys. You know, unfortunately, not everything lasts forever, and it is what it is, you know. And I will look back as XDefiant as that thing that could have been, but unfortunately just didn't make it due to reasons that we discussed in this video, and possibly other reasons that there's just simply not enough time in this video, because I don't want this video to run longer than it already is. I already did a commentary that lasted about 20 minutes, and I don't want to do that again. So I think I'm going to cut it here. So that is where we are with XDefiant. I hope you guys are enjoying Season 3. Remember, you can find the game in your library if you had it downloaded previously. And, you know, and obviously on PC, you can look at recently downloaded, I believe, and you can look and try to find it there and reinstall from there. But unfortunately, if you've never installed the game before, if you've never downloaded it before, whatever it is, unfortunately, as of right now, where things stand, you are out of luck. And I seriously doubt that that's going to change. But if it does change, that in and of itself is a sliver of hope. But again, highly doubtful. But anyway, guys, as always, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. Your support over the last year and a half has been great. I will be streaming the game, but that's pretty much where it stops at this point for me. And thank you again, and I'll see you guys later.